Yeah, the interesting part about that is the captain, and not the captain, the head of the prisoners, like
Well, Andy
the
Serkis' character.
yeah, Andy Circus, like because they introduced a very very interesting dynamic there. Like
Mm-hmm.
since he's about to get his jail time is about to be finished, so
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to comply as best as he can, so that he can finally get out. So you know that he's sort of with the empire in a sense that he doesn't want anything to go wrong, so that he can finally get out without any caveats or stuff like that. So it
Mm-hmm.
will be interesting how that will play out in the next episode when they try to get out of the prison, because for sure he's gonna stand in the way. Like he's gonna try to find out like whatever it is that Cassian and the others try to figure out. Like
Mm-hmm.
how will they bypass the metal feet on the electrocution? I think, or like is it electrocution?
Oh
On
yeah,
the
it's that
on the feet.
floor thing, right?
Yeah. So the reason why the guards don't have weapons is because they have these shoes that protect them from electrocution from the floor.
Some big ass shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually kind of smart, come to think of it. I like that this level of detail when it comes to how the empire manages their prisoners back in the day, and
Mm-hmm.
the nitty gritty of the prisoners in everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
And also the part where what do you call this, they incentivize them to work in groups in such a way that whoever is the worst performing group gets to get tortured. That's actually a really interesting. Yeah, it's like, okay, you gotta work or else you're gonna be in the torture chamber or something like that.
Yeah. It's actually pretty smart because then they're making that way you're kind of incentive like making an incentive to be a human factory and stuff. Like I thought that was actually really cool. Uh
Yeah.
like how they made it into like a fatal game. That's why what's his name? The captain, whoever you call it, like he called it playing the game.
Yeah, for sure. Because uh, if you think about it, how do you make them more productive in a sense? That you will know that they will do their very best, and
Hmm.
that's actually the smartest way to do it. Assuming you have no morals, kind of like the Empire. Yeah, it makes sense, and I kind of appreciate the attention to detail to that, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, a lot of this episode is basically I feel like it's changing scenes too frequently, too often, because like it keeps going back to Cassian doing the shifts, which I think we kind of get it already early on. Like he's gonna stay there for quite a while, because like it kept going back to him working on his shifts on a day to day basis. Even they even fast forwarded it to like a month.
Hmm.
Then so,
30
yeah,
shifts later.
yeah, 30 shifts later. So then someone tried to run for whatever. Maybe it'll be answered in the next episode. But yeah, someone tried to run but got electrocuted by the floor.
I didn't feel like I got the I didn't think it was running. I actually thought it was a prisoner just committing suicide. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's also because I can't imagine one person figuring out a way to bypass that.
Yeah,
By
because the way he was standing there late at night, it was like that's the impression I got. And
y-
so like he was
yeah,
gonna like he had enough like this. I mean, even though you think yeah, and it makes you kind of question too about there was one of the inmates that approached Cassian and talked about how you shouldn't even pay attention to your numbers, even if it doubles, it doesn't matter, something like that. So
y-
it was making me think, what if it made me think of what that inmate said and the guy that committed suicide, like, what if you never get out, or he's had enough, so this is his only way to get out was just to
to
commit
end his own
suicide.
life.
Yeah, end it.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It makes sense because it'll definitely take a toll on them mentally, for sure.
Yeah.
Then then Bix was eventually because Deidre was cracking down. Oh yeah, speaking of, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So I think I kind of called it out right in the past few podcasts. Like it's gonna be Deidre who ends up meeting up with Karn. So yeah, I call I call that. Like they're gonna meet eventually, which I think I'm I'm really thinking in the next episode or maybe in the next two episodes that Karn will end up being recruited. Either he finds out something that Deidre needs, or he does something that impresses Deidre in such a way that she brings him back to the fold. She brings him back to the investigation. That's what I'm seeing. Then yeah, because Deidre was spent resources in um cracking down on Ferrix, Bix ends up getting caught by her. So she in the next episode, I imagine it's gonna show her being tortured by her or being interrogated by her. So it's interesting to see what happens then.
Mm-hmm.
Then what else? Oh yeah, Luthen is trying to find Cassian because they're not aware where he is, and Luthen eventually talks to another rebel. His name is Saw, I believe. Yeah, SAW Saw. So he's like Luthen is trying to unify the rebels to stand as one against the Empire because even though there are multiple rebels across the galaxy, if they don't fight together, they're not going to do anything against the Empire, or at least they will not do any significant damage to the Empire. So Luthen is trying to convince them slowly that they should fight together so that they could actually make a difference against the Empire, which I kind of like because like in the Star Wars movies or in the other TV series, it's just like the rebels are together. Then what do we have to do to find a way to the Empire? So I like that the nitty gritty where the rebels were actually need to converse or coordinate, and it's not gonna be an easy road to get there before it can actually happen. So again, more of the subtleties of this TV series, which I kind of wish more people actually pay attention to the series because I'm watching other YouTube videos like, oh, I don't really watch Andor because again, people are so burnt out of the Disney Star Wars already. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like it's a
it's
shame.
sad.
Yeah, this series is pretty good. It's like I'm invested more than I didn't even finish Mandalorian season 2 yet, but I am I'm really liking this one. So I'm more invested
Mhm.
on this one honestly than in Mandalorian because in Mandalorian it's like it's another mini series, but it's not something we've seen before. It's just that we like probably Pedro Pascal and Giancarlo Esposito. We like the cast basically, but it's
And
still
Baby
basically it's
Yoda.
yeah, Baby Yoda. Yes, true. It's
Yeah,
basically the same kind of Star Wars story we've seen before.
I was
Really,
gonna agree with you on that. Yeah,
yeah. Unlike this one is really different. It takes on the more it takes more of a boots on the ground approach rather than the macro aspect of Star Wars. It's just something really different, really refreshing.
yeah, I agree with you. Because I do sometimes like listen to you and Philip when you guys your podcast, and um I don't know if it was the previous episode or the one before, but uh you guys talked about how it can really relate to the audience because they go into the very human side of like thinking and um with nobody really wearing helmets or anything, like not to cover their face. It's like it really sucks you in as a person, and you're getting to know that a person is not just evil or good. Like, it's not just black and white. There's a lot of gray, which is how humans really are. It's not just plain evil or plain good. So you get to relate with a lot of the characters, and um, yeah, you get to just to see another side to it. And like you said, Grae, even like trying to collab, I guess, with the other rebel groups, like hearing Saw like talk about how he just doesn't want to sacrifice his team for like put them in danger for something for like he's not sure if he wants to put them in jeopardy or stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah, for another rebel because he doesn't know if he can trust them. But yeah,
yeah,
Luthen
and
is
then
trying to make them see the bigger picture. Yeah, yeah. Sorry,
yeah,
you continue.
and oh, no worries, and yeah, like it makes you think too. You're like, if you were in his position, yeah, what would you do, right? It,
Mhm,
it makes
mhm.
you relate. Um, so even even with Karn and stuff, like it
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
it makes you relate to him too. Like you don't see him, like you and Philip said, it you don't see him as necessarily the bad guy. It's a guy doing his job.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
and we can all relate to
even chat mentioned, is it bad that I'm kind of rooting for Karn? Yeah, I am kind of am too actually. Like,
that.
let's hope he gets his job back. 'Cause, I mean, he was at the end of the day, he was doing what he needed to do. Like he was doing his job. Like it's
Mhm.
just that yeah, it got butchered because they were clever enough to get away. But that's all there is to it. And he's getting
Yeah,
screwed over because of
and
politics.
he got punished for going above and beyond, and so it makes you
Yeah.
feel bad, and yeah, it kind of makes you root for him, which I actually got some. Yeah, so when I forgot her name when they brought back Karn to get interrogated. I actually thought maybe in this episode that he was gonna get recruited back.
Yeah, yeah, me
So
too. Me
I kind of got confused as to why they didn't. Um, I don't know if it's too fast paced or something, because I was thinking, you could tell that he didn't do anything bad, and when they interrogated him, he talked about how he just wants to serve
yeah.
the
Yeah.
empire as best as he can. So yeah, I'm kind of wondering why.
I think it's added drama. It's either I can see two scenarios on this. It's like both of them. It's gonna end up with him being back. That's for sure. Like
Hmm.
one is something at Cassian does because of the prison. I imagine the prison escape is gonna be episode 9 because like it's
Mhm.
always in the third episode, third of the 3 episodes that the big thing happens. So by that, I imagine when Cassian gets out of the prison, I imagine it's gonna be in next week's episode. It's gonna alarm Deidre, and then eventually she's gonna reach out to Karn, like, okay, you know him very well. I need you in my team.
Mm,
Some either like that or sorry, not Cass, Karn does something again in his PC, in his computer, that manages to dig up more information, or he manages to do something through his computer that impresses Deidre. Then she recruits him, something like that.
mhm.
Because in this episode, she was like, "No, you screwed up. I'm not interested in recruiting someone like you. You're incompetent." For now, it's like it's intended added drama, in my opinion. But eventually,
Mhm.
she's gonna be brought back. That's what I'm seeing.
I I definitely agree with that. Your assessment. I think that if in terms of pacing, I would say if the show writers and the runners would just automatically, it's like, okay, yeah, let's in this episode let's have Deidre recruit Karn, and it's sort of like there isn't any like drama between that. Like it's too easy, right? You want to be able to drag out that sort of interaction between both of them, and you really want him to make his case. Like you want Karn to sort of like, this is why I did. He's like, I did a damn good job. I'm really good at what I did, and like it's like are you gonna promote me? Are you gonna bring me back into the fold, or I'm just still gonna be working a desk job? So I think it's just it will be a little bit more of a little bit more drawn out. Maybe at the end of next episode, we might see Deidre is like, all right, you're gonna be like the head. You're gonna be spearheading this hunt for Cassian. He escaped. We know exactly how he looks like now, and like it's I think that's the way where it will actually make more intrigue in terms of just like immediately just recruiting him.
Yeah. I mean, like I believe one of you guys mentioned the format that you've noticed with Andor, where there's a build up, and
Hmm.
then
Mm,
maybe an episode of build up, usually one episode, right? And then the next one is where all the action happens.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Uh,
But did you guys
what?
notice though, like when Cassian came in uh into his, I guess, department, with the way he was kind of observing everybody, like the way they were talking and stuff like that. Uh, did you guys like speculate anything, or I felt like there was a lot of time put into that, like him
Ye-
observing, like like listening to the people, the different staff give orders and stuff like that. So I'm kind of wondering if that's going to play a part of his plan to escape, or what are your
yeah,
speculations?
yeah. I think you're spot on that, Kat. It's because for me, it's like I also for Angry Joe, I was watching his review last night. It's like they spent too much time on that, so I get the feeling that's what
Yeah.
the showrunners were trying to imply. Like he's all in Cassian's mind. It's like, okay, who do I need to talk to? What do I need to say to them? What do they need to do? It's like I think that's what they were trying to imply. That's why it keeps going back and forth to the shifts. It's like we 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 already get it early on that he's gonna be there for quite a while, like working his ass off just to survive. So I think that's the reason why it's like he's trying to develop a plan so that he
Hmm.
can get away. Yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
what I think too.
At first I thought it was a little bit weird too, because I'm like, I don't understand what they're saying. but
Yeah,
then, but then, yeah, they kept like going back and forth, kind of like if you were watching, you as the person, like you as Cassian, were kind of watching, because it kept switching person to person to person. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if he's observing, or is he trying to see who to knock out at that moment, but no, that's not gonna work. So,
yeah, yeah. True, true.
but yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's well, other details is okay, apparently Vel and Cinta are in a relationship. I only
Hmm.
pieced that together in this episode because it was implied in episode 4 or 5 that Cinta was in a relationship with one of the people in the group, but Ski never mentioned who. Apparently, it was
Hmm.
Vel the entire time. So yeah, so that's apparently that's something. It didn't even register to me that it was the two of them back when they were enacting their plan in Aldani. So now it's actually confirmed that it's actually the two of them.
I
So
had a feeling, like, I don't know. I had a
y-
feeling that they were, because they seemed so close. Like when what's her name? The blonde one.
Vel.
Well, yeah, because when she would talk to her, um, it just seemed different. Like instead of like a commander type of
Yeah,
approach.
and especially the part where they were in the middle um of the operation. Cinta was telling
Hmm.
her to issue the orders. Yeah, I should it should have registered to me back then,
Yeah,
but it
but
didn't.
you're
Yeah,
right. Here, this episode, they actually just they officialized it.
yeah, it's confirmed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting how that will play out. Will they be the ones to rescue Bix? I imagine. I think they're the only ones who can at that point, given they're the only ones at Ferrix. But I don't know. Or
Mhm.
maybe Marva. Marva will play a role too. But I get the feeling Marva is kind of like she's gonna die in the season finale. Then that's what I think that's they're setting it up in that way
I
for
think so
Cassian.
too.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
like
like wasn't weren't I well the times where I was actually like awake and paying attention. I remember they one of them I think it was like Bix was like, oh, they have to carry you back, like your legs, like you can't walk or something like that, or something along the lines of where like she's sort of like handicapped now, right? Like or like they said that like they had to carry her back to her like her home or something like that because she wasn't
yeah,
able to walk.
yeah, I think because she was dealing with her I don't I could be wrong on this too. I think she's dealing with her anxieties. Like she was doing particular things. I think
Mhm.
I'm not sure if she was it implied that she was drinking? I don't remember. Like she was trying to deal with her anxieties because like what because of the previous episode she was trying to tell Cassian that it's time we fight back as rebels. Like we had enough of this crap. So she was trying to I don't know talking to people or the way she was interact it's beginning to make manifest with the way she interacted with people. Then yeah, the two people who were taking care of her were Bix and Brasso. So yeah, like you can tell that it's also starting to permeate to the two of them. Like especially now that Tix got caught by Deidre, so it's only going to push her to do the same, to eventually go to where Cassian will go, which is to fight with the rebels.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we do know that when Luthen was talking to Saul, I remember Saul is one of the characters that was in Rogue One, like earlier in the beginning, where I believe he ends up saving Jyn Erso, like when she was like down in like the well or something like that, like some kind of hatch. Like he saved,
Oh, right.
yeah, I believe he saved her early on in the movie. So, um, we do know that I guess he does get persuaded to join the Force. You know, like to like fight against the Empire or whatnot. But I think overall, even though I don't remember much of the episode, the stuff that I do remember, I think there were like Cat, like what you said, like Cassian's is very he's very observant.
Mhm.
Especially when he was doing the whole military heist thing with Vel and the rest of the crew from the previous heist. And you see him like he's relatively observant, like especially when he was like, oh, you should hold your rifle this way because you're left-handed, you're not right-handed. So it's like some small details like that. So it's just sort of a person who just sits there, he sort of doesn't talk but listens and observes his surroundings. And I think that'll definitely help him um more on his end whenever he escapes. But here's the thing though, I have a feeling Andy Serkis might die as well. While like even though he's really close, like he has less than a year, then he's out. But I have a feeling that he might die in maybe the next episode or something like that. I don't know.
Smeagol?
Yeah, Shmigo. Yeah, I think Gollum might die.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I like his character though. Honestly,
Mhm.
even though it's just one step, it's like it adds just a really interesting dynamic. Like you would think that normally you would think all prisoners will band together then try to get out, but they made he's written in such a way that it adds complexity to the prison escape scenario, which I kind of digging.
Yeah, definitely,
Mhm.
definitely. Oh man. So do you know how many more episodes do we have? Like, is it 10? Do you think it's 10
I
episodes?
I think it's actually 12. If we're good,
12. Oh shit.
wait, let's confirm. But it makes sense because if we're following the 3 episode per like the slow burn in first 2 episodes, then the third episode. So it makes sense to be for it to be the 12. Of course, they want
Mhm.
to end with a bang. I mean, that's how I see it. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
And and
I I I do agree with that. Like, I think 12 would be a really nice end. But if they are gonna end it at like 10, like, like the last one has to be like, it doesn't have to be a lot of action, but it has to be a lot of like, sort of like, a bunch of like, it has to be some kind of cliffhanger, and it has to be a bunch of build up to like next season. If it's only gonna be 10 episodes, but if it's 12, that could be pretty interesting, right? And
yeah,
I,
yeah, confirm. It's 12. 12.
oh shit, okay, cool, cool.
Okay, nice.
All right. That's actually great. So we have a couple more episodes.
Mhm.
Because we are at this is episode 8, so we have a couple more, which is great. But
Yeah.
I think overall this is
So
it's
the
good.
action-packed one will be coming this week.
Yeah,
The
that's
prison
what
escape.
I'm anticipating. Do you think?
Nice.
What do you guys think of Luthen? So when I keep forgetting the name of um the blonde girl that talked to Karn or is investigating his
Oh,
case.
Deidre. Her name's Deidre.
Nidra. So when they were talking about this person, they code name Axis. That's Luthen, right?
Yep. Yep. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. For sure.
So
Yeah.
so I'm kind of scared for him. Like, do you guys think that in this season he will get caught, or in the next few episodes, uh, they're gonna find out who he is, or like what do you think?
That's actually a
I
good
don't know.
question. For sure he's gonna die eventually. He's gonna get caught
Yeah.
eventually. But the question is when? Is it already by the end of the season, or I would think he would kind of stick around for at least one more. I think at least
Okay.
he'll be in. I think he'll be in season 2. I think that will push Cassian to join the rebels is Marva, the death of
Mhm.
Marva. Not
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, Luthen will just probably reinforce it, but it's more on Marva who will eventually bring into the fold.
Yeah, I agree too. I just know that during that whole talk about like what Deidre has discovered and stuff, and then just thinking that Karn is going to be, they are gonna team up. I have to admit, it kind of got me nervous with just thinking of the like what's gonna happen to Luthen, and or like how long is his I guess disguise or something, or
Yeah,
his
they
secret going to
yeah,
be.
they actually made it interesting too with Luthen. Like you can tell that he's starting to get anxious back in his shop. Like Clea was trying to calm him down. Do not be rash.
Like
Yeah,
he's getting excited too because there's things that are finally happening,
yeah,
but
yeah. So,
but
like
it's like
Clea
they
was
have to
trying.
find Cassian.
Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
you need to be you need to calm down. You need to be discreet, especially they're on
Mhm.
extremely high alert. So yeah, it makes sense that someone is trying to keep him calm or trying to keep him in check, which I kind of like too. He's not your typical perfect character, like he's calm and composed all the time, because it's too perfect of a character for me if
Yeah,
he manages to do that.
maybe that's why I felt a little anxiety then, because just before that scene, it was a little bit before that scene was with Deidre and them finding things like Access, code naming him Access, and so I think after that scene and then going to Luthen and him kind of not losing his cool, but I guess yeah, getting emotional and stuff, it brought on that anxiety, like okay, things are happening.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I would say I think they might maybe like the last like 2 or 3 episodes, maybe like 10, maybe 11 or 12. I have a feeling that they are gonna find out the identity of Luthen, right? Because we do know that Skarn is like, oh, I don't know how he looks like. I just know that he's an older guy, but I know his voice. So let's say
Yeah,
if
the
you
voice, like
it
oh
so
no.
so, so let's say there's some kind of like transmission they can intercept or something like that of like him talking, like maybe someone intercepts something
Oh,
where like he hear him talking to someone and it's like, wait, I know that voice, so
oh,
that could be very interesting, maybe like a setup for like potential shit that's gonna go down in the future.
Actually, you are right. Now that you mentioned it, I actually forgot that scene. I think that will be the catalyst for Deidre to recruit Karn.
Hmm.
Thanks for checking out this segment of the Project Eggroll podcast. If you like what we do here, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will know next time when we go live. We do go live every Saturday at 8 p.m. Once again, we are just getting started. Tons of more video to come. Thanks, and we'll see you guys next time.